A single gummy candy factory can produce over 5 million individual gummies in a single day. Every one of them the same shape, the same color, the same chew, the same flavor, produced continuously by a system that runs around the clock and almost never stops. And almost nobody outside these facilities has ever seen the full process from raw ingredient to sealed bag. This is exactly how it happens. It starts with gelatin, and understanding gelatin is essential to understanding everything that follows. Gelatin is the ingredient that gives a gummy candy its defining characteristic, that specific elastic chew that snaps back when you bite into it and releases flavor as the structure breaks down. Without gelatin, a gummy is just sugar candy. With it, the candy becomes something with a unique physical behavior that no other confectionery ingredient can replicate. Gelatin is a protein derived from collagen, the structural protein found in the connective tissue, skin, and bones of animals, most commonly pigs and cattle in food applications. It arrives at the candy facility as a dry, granular, or powdered material, pale yellow, almost odorless, with no resemblance to the material it will become once hydrated and processed. The gelatin used in commercial gummy production is food grade and specification controlled for bloom strength, a measurement of the gelatin's gel strength expressed in bloom grams that directly determines the firmness and chew of the finished candy. A higher bloom gelatin produces a firmer, more resilient gummy. A lower bloom produces a softer, more tender bite. The blend of gelatin grades used in any given formula is one of the primary levers controlling finished product texture, and it is specified precisely in the production recipe. Alongside gelatin, the other primary raw materials are sugar, typically sucrose, glucose syrup, or a combination of both water, citric acid, natural or artificial flavors, colors, and in some formulations, additional functional ingredients like pectin for a modified texture, or vitamin fortification for functional candy products. Each ingredient is received at the facility in bulk, where possible sugar in large silos fed by tanker truck delivery, glucose syrup in heated tank systems that keep the highly viscous liquid flowable, and minor ingredients in bags or drums that are weighed and staged in the ingredient preparation area. All incoming materials go through quality control testing before being released for use moisture content, pH where relevant, microbiological compliance, and in the case of gelatin, bloom strength verification against the formula specification. The production cycle begins in the dissolving and mixing area, where the liquid phase of the gummy formula is built from the ground up. Water is metered into a heated mixing vessel first, the quantity precisely calculated based on the batch formula, because the final moisture content of the finished gummy is a critical quality parameter. Too much water in the formula means the gummy will not set properly and will remain sticky or soft. Too little and the candy becomes too stiff or difficult to deposit. The gelatin is added to the water next and allowed to hydrate, a process called blooming, where the dry gelatin granules absorb water and swell before being dissolved by heat. The heated vessel brings the temperature of the water-gelatin mixture to the point where the gelatin dissolves completely into a clear, slightly viscous solution. This dissolving temperature needs to be managed carefully. Too high, and the gelatin's molecular structure begins to degrade, reducing its gel strength and producing a finished candy that is softer than specified. Too low, and the gelatin doesn't fully dissolve, leaving undissolved particles that create texture defects in the finished product. While the gelatin is dissolving, the sugar phase is being prepared in a separate cooking system. Sugar and glucose syrup are combined with a measured quantity of water in a cooking vessel and heated to a target temperature that drives off moisture and concentrates the sugar solution to the correct solids content for the formula. This cooking step is essentially candy making at its most fundamental, concentrating a sugar solution by evaporation to a degree that, combined with the gelatin system, will produce the correct finished texture after the candy sets. The target cooking temperature determines the final solids content of the sugar phase, and it is controlled to within a degree or two because even small deviations in solids content produce measurable changes in the finished candy's texture, shelf stability, and moisture migration behavior over time. Continuous cooking systems where the sugar syrup flows through a series of heated tubes or a scraped surface heat exchanger, rather than being cooked in stationary batches, are common in high volume facilities because they maintain consistent cooking conditions and allow the process to run without interruption. The cooked sugar syrup and the dissolved gelatin solution are combined in a blending vessel where they are mixed thoroughly into a single homogeneous liquid. This combined mass is the base gummy syrup, hot, fluid, transparent, or slightly amber in color, and at this stage essentially flavorless and colorless. The blending vessel maintains the temperature of the mixture above the gelatin's setting point, keeping it fully liquid while the next additions are made. Citric acid or malic acid, tartaric acid, or a blend of acids, depending on the flavor profile being developed, is added at this stage to provide the sour note that is central to most gummy candy flavor profiles. Acid addition requires attention to timing because acid accelerates the hydrolysis of gelatin at high temperatures, essentially breaking down the gelatin molecules and reducing their gel strength. This is why acids are typically added as late in the process as possible and at the lowest practical temperature to minimize the exposure time between the acid and the gelatin in the hot liquid state. Flavors and colors are added at or around the same point, also late in the process to minimize heat degradation of volatile flavor compounds and color stability. The flavor and color additions transform the base syrup from a transparent amber liquid into the vivid, brightly colored, distinctly scented candy mass that will become the finished gummy red for strawberry, green for apple, orange for orange, yellow for lemon, and across the enormous range of flavors and colors that the gummy candy category encompasses. The finished liquid gummy mass, hot, colored, flavored, and fully mixed, is now transferred to the depositing system, and this is where the candy takes physical form for the first time. The depositing system is built around a starch mogul, one of the most visually distinctive and operationally central pieces of equipment in any gummy candy factory. A starch mogul is a machine that uses trays filled with cornstarch as a molding medium for the liquid candy. The starch trays, flat, rectangular aluminum or plastic trays approximately 2 to 3 inches deep, are filled with fine, dry cornstarch that is pressed into a smooth, level surface. A molding board carrying a matrix of shaped plungers then presses into the starch surface, creating a precise array of shaped impressions. The negative mold of the finished gummy shape, bears, worms, rings, frogs, sharks, geometric shapes. The plunger matrix defines what each impression looks like, and when the plunger board lifts away, the tray surface is left with hundreds of perfect shaped cavities pressed into the starch, waiting to be filled. The liquid candy mass, maintained at the correct depositing temperature to ensure it is fluid enough to flow cleanly into the starch impressions without premature setting, is fed from the heated supply system into the depositing heads positioned above the moving tray conveyor. The depositing heads contain a bank of precision nozzles, one nozzle for each column of impressions in the starch tray that open and close in a timed cycle to deposit a precise measured volume of liquid candy into each impression. The volume per deposit is calibrated to produce the target finished piece weight. As the tray moves forward on the conveyor and each row of impressions aligns beneath the depositing head, the nozzles fire and fill the row, then close as the tray advances to the next row. A fully deposited tray exits the depositor carrying hundreds of filled impressions, liquid candy sitting in shaped starch molds, flush with the starch surface, in the exact shape of the finished gummy, but still completely liquid. The filled trays are stacked in the conditioning room, a large, temperature and humidity controlled space where the trays sit undisturbed for the time required for the gelatin to set and the candy to firm to its finished texture. This conditioning period is typically between 24 and 48 hours in a conventional starch mogul operation, though some facilities use accelerated conditioning with controlled temperature profiles that can shorten the setting time. During conditioning, two things happen simultaneously. The gelatin network sets as the temperature drops, creating the elastic solid structure of the gummy, and moisture migrates from the candy mass into the surrounding starch, reducing the moisture content of the gummy to its target level. The starch is an active part of the setting process, not just a mold material. Its ability to absorb moisture from the gummy surface helps dry the candy to the correct finished moisture content and contributes to the slight skin formation on the surface of the finished piece that gives a good gummy its characteristic exterior texture. After the conditioning period, the starch trays are fed into the mogul machine's destacking and emptying system. The trays are inverted and the contents starch and candy pieces together fall onto a shaking screen that separates the now firm gummy pieces from the bulk of the starch. The gummies are separated and travel on a conveyor forward to the cleaning system, while the starch is collected, screened to remove any candy fragments or foreign material, conditioned for moisture content, and returned to the mogul's tray filling system for reuse. The starch recycling loop is continuous. The same starch circulates through the system repeatedly, being used to mold, set, and release batch after batch of gummies before eventually being replaced when its condition deteriorates beyond a usable threshold. The gummy pieces emerging from the starch separation step are coated with a fine layer of starch dust on their surfaces, visible as a slight matte, powdery appearance on the otherwise slightly tacky candy surface. The cleaning system uses a combination of brushing and air blowing to remove this surface starch, leaving the pieces clean. For gummies that will receive a sugar coating the crystal sugar exterior that gives certain gummy products their crunchy outer layer, the cleaned pieces go directly into the sugar coating drum at this point. For gummies that will receive an oil coating, the standard finishing for most non-sour gummy products, the cleaned pieces move to the oiling drum. The oiling drum is a large, slowly rotating vessel where the cleaned gummy pieces tumble continuously, while a food-grade oil, typically fractionated coconut oil, carnauba wax, or a blend is sprayed or poured in a controlled quantity over the tumbling mass. The tumbling action distributes the oil across all surfaces of every piece as they roll against each other and the drum walls. The oil coating serves a practical and visual purpose simultaneously. It prevents the gummy pieces from sticking to each other during subsequent handling and packaging, and it gives the finished gummy its characteristic, glossy, jewel-like appearance that is one of the most immediately appealing visual attributes of a high-quality gummy product. The quantity of oil applied is controlled because too little leaves pieces that stick together in the package, and too much produces pieces with an unpleasant, greasy surface that consumers can feel and dislike. For sour gummy products, the finishing step is different. Instead of oil, the clean pieces are tumbled with a coating of sour sugar, a blend of fine granulated sugar and citric acid that adheres to the slightly tacky surface of the gummy and creates the intensely sour exterior that characterizes products like sour worms or sour bears. The sour coating application is timed, and the quantity is controlled by the dosing system feeding the coating drum, because the acid level in the sour coating directly determines the intensity of the sour experience, a critical flavor attribute for sour gummy products where the coating is the primary flavor delivery mechanism rather than the candy body itself. From the oiling or sour coating drum, the finished gummy pieces travel on a conveyor through an inspection and sorting system before reaching the packaging line. Camera-based optical sorters scan the gummy pieces as they travel in a single layer across an inspection conveyor. The camera system evaluates each piece for color checking that the color falls within the acceptable range for that flavor, and flagging pieces that are too pale, too dark, or show discoloration from processing defects. Shape inspection identifies pieces that are misformed, incomplete, or fused to another piece in a way that creates a double or deformed unit. Weight verification is done by periodic sampling on inline checkweighers. Rejected pieces are diverted by air jets and collected for rework or disposal depending on the nature of the defect. Pieces within specification continue forward to the weighing and packaging system. The packaging line for gummy candy in retail bag format uses multi-head combination weighers, the same technology found in chip and cookie packing operations, to portion the continuous stream of finished gummies into target weight fills. The weigher distributes pieces across multiple radial arms and weigh buckets, reads the weight of each bucket's contents simultaneously, and uses a combinatorial algorithm to identify which combination of buckets adds up to the target fill weight within the declared tolerance. The winning combination opens and releases its pieces into the packaging machine below in a coordinated drop that delivers the target weight portion in a single cycle. The packaging machine is a vertical form-fill seal unit that takes a roll of printed flexible packaging film and converts it into a filled, sealed retail bag in a continuous operation. The film unrolls from the supply reel and is drawn down over a forming tube, a vertical cylinder that folds the flat film into a tube shape. A vertical backseam sealer heat bonds the overlapping film edges into a continuous sealed tube. Horizontal jaws close across the tube at timed intervals, creating the bottom seal of the new bag and simultaneously the top seal of the completed one below, with a blade cutting the two apart. The gummy portions released by the weigher above fall through the forming tube into the partially formed bag below each fill cycle. The completed bag sealed on all sides, filled with the target weight of finished gummies, and printed with the brand graphics, flavor, and weight declaration drops from the machine's exit onto the outbound conveyor. Every bag passes through a check weigher that verifies the actual net weight against the declared weight on the label, and immediately after through a metal detection coil that scans for any metallic contamination at the sensitivity level required by the facility's food safety plan. Underweight bags and any bag triggering the metal detector are automatically diverted. Both systems log every event continuously. Accepted bags move to the case packing station, where automated machinery groups them into the count for the shipping case, erects and seals the case, and applies the production date, best before date, and batch traceability codes. Completed cases are palletized by robotic or mechanical systems, stretch-wrapped, labeled, and transferred to finished goods warehouse storage. The warehouse holds the product at controlled ambient temperature. Gummy candy is temperature sensitive, and storage in conditions that are too warm causes the gelatin structure to soften, pieces to stick together, and moisture to migrate in ways that degrade both texture and appearance. From the warehouse, the pallets enter the distribution network that carries the product to retail locations or, in the case of private label or contract manufactured product, to the brand owner's distribution system. From the gelatin dissolving vessel to the sealed retail bag, the entire production cycle in a modern high-volume gummy facility takes approximately 30 to 50 hours, the longest single element being the conditioning room time, where the starch molds do their work. The production line itself, from depositing through packaging, runs continuously. While one set of trays is conditioning, the depositor is filling the next set, the mogul is demolding a set that is already conditioned, and the packaging line is running on pieces that were demolded and finished earlier. The overlapping cycles of the starch mogul system allow continuous packaging line operation despite the multi-hour conditioning step in the middle. 5 million pieces a day. Every one of them through the same dissolved gelatin, the same starch mold, the same conditioning room, the same oil drum, the same weigher, the same bag, uniform in shape, color, weight, and chew, not by chance, but by a process engineered to make variation the exception rather than the rule. That is the complete journey of a gummy candy, from raw gelatin and sugar to the bag in your hand. If this kind of inside look is what keeps you watching, a like takes 1 second and genuinely helps. Subscribe for more factory and production documentaries, and drop a comment telling us which candy, snack, or food product you want traced from raw ingredient to finished package next. There's always more happening behind the wrapper than anyone realizes.